Hi everyone, welcome back to the mdlove podcast. So I gotta share with you. I am recording today's episode for the second time. I recorded an episode, and if I'm allowed to compliment myself, I had a lot of great comments about more songs that they were talking about in Loving Neverland, and I don't know what happened. Everything was erased. It was really annoying, and I was thinking, okay, maybe it's a sign I shouldn't record an episode today or upload an episode today. But then I said, okay, you know what? I'm not giving up. There will be an episode today because I told you there will be an episode today. And what I'm going to do is, because I keep kind of sort of getting in trouble with YouTube, and I'm really getting tired of seeing that triangle thing that says that the video is blocked somewhere because of creative rights. I'm going to skip the part that is called the unapologetic discography. Okay, if you guys want to see what they were talking about, what kind of songs they mentioned, you are more than welcome to watch the second part of Loving Neverland and see it for yourself. I'm skipping that part. I think we've had enough episodes of, talking about the songs. So I'm going to move on to see what more they have to tell us in the second part. And we will just move on from there, okay? And let's see what more can we learn about our amazing Michael and his life and him, etc., etc. Okay, so let's hope, please cross fingers, people, that this episode will be recorded properly and saved, and I'm going to be able to upload it, because I'm not going to record it for the third time. It's not going to happen. So let's just move on. I will just say they talked about the song Childhood, Stranger in Moscow, History, what else? I don't remember, but they were great songs. They talked about a lot of very important things. Childhood is a very good song. It's where Michael says, it's my most autobiographical song, so it is very important to listen to that. History is very important because it has this great message of unity, and that's what Michael was about, uniting people. They talked about a stranger in Moscow, saying, reminding people that there were times in MJ's life when he felt very, very lonely, to a point where he would just walk down the street looking for people to talk to. So on one side he had this great fame and what looked on the outside as a very colorful, glamorous life, but the truth is that behind the scenes he was in pain for all kinds of reasons. So I think that's very important to learn about him. And I also mentioned that a lot of people say that Michael is very mysterious and we don't know much about him, and I say that's not true. He is actually a very, very open person, and he tells you exactly who he is. You just need to listen without judging, and he is very open and very honest and very truthful. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we love him so much and connect to him so much, because he is very honest and we feel like we really know him, simply because he is really himself. So he is easy to relate to. even though none of us are living a life that is anywhere like nothing close to what he's going through, you know. But he is human and he is going through a lot of hard things, but then he doesn't let it stop him. And you know, we learn a lot from him, you know, about his resilience, about you know, that he is a fighter. I also mentioned that, you know, Michael finds creative ways to fight problems. For example, Michael created Thriller mainly to open the doors for himself first to go on MTV, because MTV around that time, they had this stupid racist rule where they said, we don't want black people on our channel. So Michael had this creative way saying, you know, I'm going to create something that's going to be so big and will get so much attention that the people are going to beg MTV to put that on their channel because they're going to want to see it all the time. And that's exactly what happened. So Michael is basically the first black man on MTV. Like, he opened the door to a lot of black artists. So all those artists who loved, you know, to show off, you know, their money, their fame, whatever, they should be really grateful to Michael, because you are where you are because Michael opened the door for you, to all of you. So, you know, they should know that, and they should always be grateful, because no one else would have or could have done that, because Michael had the creativity to do that and the guts to do it, you know. No one tried before him, you know. So yeah, he was the first one and the only one who made great changes in the world. You know, he saw a problem and he fixed it in a creative way. And that's why he is the king, right? That's one of the reasons why he is king. Okay, so moving on. As I said, we're skipping the songs part, and let's see what else they have to teach us about MJ.
There is another crucial part of Jackson's legacy that deserves attention. His pioneering role as an African-American artist working in an industry which was, and still is, plagued by segregation, stereotypical representations, or little to no representation at all.
Exactly, that's why I mentioned that, you know, he created Thriller in order to get into MTV. That's exactly what they are talking about. He created big changes in the world in a creative way. Let's move on.
As his skin became whiter, the foundation of his work became blacker. America has a long history of racism. Michael saw it and tried.
That was an interesting thing to say. As his skin turned whiter, his music became blacker. And here's what I'm thinking about it. So basically, Michael was saying, that's what I'm thinking. You know, I'm turning white because of a skin disorder. And, you know, the media was trying to tell people that he is racist, that he is white on purpose, that he's doing this to himself. He doesn't want to be black. You know, that he hates his own race and whatever. You know, they were making up this stories that had nothing to do with reality. And he was saying in return, no, actually, this is something that is happening to me and I have no control over it. This is not a choice. You being racist is a choice. Okay, so he is exposing them and he fights back with the truth. But since they don't like the truth, they fought him back with lies and they were trying to destroy him with lies. But I truly, truly believe that the truth, his truth, will win eventually. Let's see, what else do they have to say?
Tried to incorporate this social ill in his short films and the lyrics of his songs. Michael was woke. He was aware of the injustices against black people. One thing about Jackson that everyone should know is that he kept himself informed and updated on the happenings of his country and...
Exactly. So, the media again was trying to tell us that Michael is someone who kind of lives in his own bubble, that, all he cares about is playing with kids and eat candy and being a big kid. That he kind of, like I said, lives in his own bubble. He doesn't care about what goes on in the world. He has no awareness of what's going on in the world. That all he cares about is being a big kid. And that he is basically this kind of selfish person that, all he cares about is his looks and whatever. When the fact is, Michael was very well read. I remember in the Bill Woodfield book, they said that, Michael used to ask them to buy him newspapers from all over the world in different languages. And they never understood why. I mean, they weren't sure that he could actually read all those other languages. But he wanted those newspapers. He always kept himself updated with what's going on in the world. He listened to the news. Always he cared about what's happening in the world. And more than that, when he saw that there is somebody that needs help, especially a child, he was the first one that helped the family, the child. There's a story, and I hope they're going to mention it here in the documentary, Loving Neverland. I think they did. This mother who threw her children through from a bridge. And Michael was so sad about that case. He went to the funeral, and if I remember correctly, he paid for the funeral, the casket, whatever. He was there. He took that story very, very hard. And he was always so helpful because, he read about things in the newspapers, and then he knew who he needs help. Like the story with Dave. He read about him and he reached out. And I'm sure there are so many other cases that no one ever talks about, but he helped as many people as he could, mainly children. So for the media to lie to people and to say, you know what, he is a king that is detached from the people. No, absolutely not. He's not a politician. The politicians are detached from the people. They're the ones who have no idea and really don't care about what the people wants or needs. Michael, as I said before, is a world leader, and he is also an activist. When he sees a problem, he fixes it or tries to fix it. And in most occasions, he succeeds. And he does help a lot. But that's, of course, something the media doesn't want you to know about, because, they want to ruin his image. They don't want you to know who he really is. Because, like I said many, many times, once you realize and learn about who he really is, you will see who they really are, that they are liars. And they are completely detached from reality. And they have this agenda, a purpose to destroy Michael. So I always say, learn who Michael really is, so that you will see that what they say about him and what all those accusers are saying about him could never be true. Once you get to know Michael, you will see the truth. Okay? Okay, moving on.
The world. He was highly educated and learned, having an entire library filled with books on black history and culture.
And he had a list.
Not just about black history and everything. He was so thirsty to learn about everything. Some people, they call him busy nose. But what we really mean is he was very curious about everything, learning about everything. He was so thirsty to learn and to know. So yeah, they're talking about black history and all of those things, but he was really highly educated about everything, really everything. Um, when people call him a genius, they don't mean just musically. Obviously, as a musician is incredible, but he was also a very, very smart man. And maybe sometime people didn't realize it because he was also kind of goofy, and he was funny and he was childlike, and he was kind of hiding it from the public. I don't know why, but there's this side of him that is really, in a good way, dorky, and it was very, very, very smart, a genius. But of course, the media will never tell you about that. And he was kind of hiding it from people, but then you know what? People should have realized it, seeing his work, seeing how he expresses himself, seeing what he cares about, what he's interested in, you know. But not a lot of people want to go this deep. They're just enjoying, the music, and which is okay, I guess. But again, if you really want to know who Michael really is, you gotta go deep and learn. You gotta learn, because the lies of the media needs to be exposed. Okay. Yeah. So let's move on. Let's see what else they say about how highly educated Michael is.
Of books lined up all along the floor. And I looked over and I said, yo, Mike, people just sending you stuff like that. He says, no, that's what I read. I mean, he had everything from the autobiography of Malcolm X, Eat to Live. He had Sri Aurobindo, Krishnamurti. I mean, like these exotic books, that you would never imagine Michael was down with. Right. And we sat there 3 hours, man, chopping it up about all of this. From metaphysics to psychology to how the black man is treated.
I don't understand his comment where he says, you wouldn't believe Michael be into those things. Why not? I mean, he is a black man. I mean, why wouldn't he want to learn about his own race? I didn't like that comment, but I am glad that he is exposing people to that he is telling people, listen, he also had that side. He was reading a lot, and he was interested in those things. So thanks for telling us, but don't be so surprised that he was a smart man and an educated man who cared to know about his own race.
And I was like looking at him like, how the black man is treated? I'm telling you, it's trick. Eat to Live by Elijah Muhammad? Yes, sir. Wow. Yes, sir. Mike, people don't know about Mike on the real. Mike had a consciousness that could blow your mind, and he could recite things that would blow your mind as well. Mm-hmm. From like the street corner stuff. Really?
Yeah, I remember people saying, you could talk to Michael about anything and everything. That man was a walking encyclopedia. So I think it's important for people to understand that, because, again, as a believer, I always say, he was so smart that there is no way that people thought that he will be, I'm sorry to use that word, stupid enough to let people control him and then later kill him. He is not. You need to understand how highly intelligent he is, and how he thinks about everything to the smallest detail, and how he really planned the hoax, the escape. So I've been saying it for years. If you'll get to know and learn who Michael really is, you will see that there is no way he died the way they told you he died. Okay? He wasn't dumb. So, and maybe after learning that, you will become a believer as well. Who knows? Okay, let's move on.
Straight up. But he also knew that his power was in entertainment. I guess that's what he knew, man. And he was definitely trying to heal the world in his own way. Michael Jackson, man, healed me.
He wasn't merely an entertainer. He was an activist. Way before Tiger Woods or Barack Obama, there was Michael Jackson, who represented his black community on a global scale.
Exactly. He was the leader of other black people. I mean, other black people, like they mentioned Barack Obama, Tiger Woods. I don't know exactly what they did, but they got recognition for it. Michael never really did. Not from the media anyway. But he did things that I doubt if we will ever know about. We know some, but he's done a lot of unbelievable things, and he created great changes in places where I guess people thought could never be changed. And I hope they're gonna talk about it more here in this documentary. What exactly did he do? Okay.
His music videos are the prime reason MTV is a popular name. Billie Jean was the first video by a black artist to be played.
We just talked about it. Okay, so Billie Jean was the first video Michael came out with MTV. So it wasn't Thriller. Okay, so I was mistaken. Billie Jean was the first one. Okay.
On the channel on heavy rotation. When MTV was on the verge of being shut down, it was Michael's 3 music videos that MTV had their first quarterly profit.
Can you imagine? They had this rule that, they're not gonna show black artists. And then, when they were in trouble, it was a black artist who saved them. I mean, I bet they never imagined that happening, right? When they made that stupid rule.
Ironically, MTV was rescued by an artist of a colour that was banned from their channel. And not just that, they even renamed...
See, they're saying exactly what I said. How ironic is that? They didn't want a black artist on their platform, and then a black artist saved them. How funny.
Named the Video Vanguard Award after him as the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award for his...
I mean, if that's not a victory, I don't know what is. Wow, that is really, really amazing. I mean, I never thought of it this way. I knew for a long time that Michael was the first black artist on MTV, but I'm not sure I knew that he basically, forgive my language, saved their ass. Wow, that is unbelievable. Okay.
His revolutionary contributions to the world of music. The popularity of Michael Jackson's videos helped bring MTV to fame.
Exactly.
Jackson's success at that time rescued the music industry out of its late 1970s recession and revolutionized it by initiating a marketing focus on blockbuster albums and video presentation.
Man, do you understand who this man is? Do you still wonder why people call him the king? I mean, look what he did. This is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Wow.
Gradually, his songs became so politically charged, which made the white America uncomfortable, so much so that they started banning his music videos in an attempt to suppress the truth, labeling them as intolerant and violent. One such video was Black or White.
Oh. Okay, I guess we're still at this discography part. Hopefully I won't get that triangle again, because it's really annoying, but I probably will. Okay, I'm gonna have to live with it.
This track addressed racism, and that the colour of one's skin doesn't dictate the treatment that one deserves, as perfectly elucidated in the phrase, "It don't matter if you're black or white." Jackson brought together different exotic cultures from around the world and incorporated them in this music video. It is a perfect example of how various cultures can be glorified without the tag of cultural appropriation. He dauntlessly called out KKK, an American white supremacist group who dressed in robes and sheets designed to frighten superstitious blacks, declaring defiantly,
and then you wonder why people tried to get rid of him. You see, the more we learn, he basically fought everyone, every evil person, group, whatever in the world, racists, criminals in uniforms, everyone. So many groups and people in power had a reason to get rid of him. So yeah, I guess maybe that was his plan in the first place, to expose everyone and then disappear. I'm again thinking as a believer, expose everyone and then disappear. Isn't that interesting?
"I ain't scared of no sheets." Jackson walks through visual collages of fire that represented the KKK torch ceremonies of a burning cross.
Wow, I never thought about it this way. So the KKK had torches, am I saying it right? And Michael just kind of says, I came back to expose you, to show who you really are, and I'm not scared of you. I'm going to fight you because I can. I am a black man and I'm fighting you. I bet they didn't like that, huh? I'm not scared of nobody. And then, now I'm thinking about Ghosts that came out after that, where he asks the mayor, "Scared yet?" Like, it's interesting, all those connections, all those dots are starting to connect. Do you understand what I'm talking about? If you don't, you're more than welcome to use the comments section and tell me, what do you think about my comments?
This song urged the world to fight against discrimination based on race and colour by boldly portraying people from all countries as equal, be it India, the US, Kenya, Ethiopia, China or France, in its video, with a common notion of humankind. The solo segment at the end of Black or White short film, Jackson walks out of the studio as a Black Panther and then morphs into himself. Then he walks outside on the street to perform some of his most physically complicated and intricate dance techniques.
So that Black Panther, do you remember in Michael Jackson's Home Movies video, he tells that he told his sister Janet that she reminds him of a Black Panther and she should use that and do something with it. And I guess she didn't. And so he took that idea to himself and says, okay, we kind of look the same, so why shouldn't I look like a Black Panther? Or maybe I look like a Black Panther as well. So I'm going to use that. And he did. It's just this memory that came up. Okay, let's move on because this is very, very important, this part.
He is seen exhibiting aggression, breaking glass, having racist white supremacy signs such as Hitler's Nazi sign swastika, "Nig go home," "No more wetbacks," and KKK rules.
Wow, that's a very powerful scene where he's standing on a car and he breaks it and he is so mad and it is again to see all those sides of MJ, you know. You see him being, you know, talk about peace and love and being gentle and sweet. And then he also has that side where he gets really mad and angry, but he also does something about it, you know. He's an activist. Um, that's always interesting to me, to learn about all of his sides. That's what we're doing here.
The video was banned because it was labelled as too sexually explicit. Media claimed that Michael's Black Panther segment was too sexually charged and was influencing children to be violent.
You see, they're just looking for excuses to, I mean, they got scared probably and said, no, we gotta find a reason or an excuse to take it off screen, because we can't let people know what's really going on. So let's take this down and let's talk about MJ's surgeries, or him being weird, or him being, why is he white, or, you know, let's use him as a distraction so that they won't notice what's really going on. There was always this battle between the two forces, Michael and whoever is trying to control this world, and it's crazy. That is really the story of Michael, just this battle between the two forces. Who was more powerful, Michael with his message of love, or the other side with their wars and control and violence? Who's gonna win at the end? Again, as a believer, I am hoping that the biopic will give us the answers to that. Okay, you know what? We are going to end the episode here. We will continue next time. I don't know when that's going to be. Until then, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I am recording it for the second time, so I mean, I have to admit it's not as good as the first try I've had, but it's good enough to upload it and for you to listen and comment on it. So yeah, until next time, which I'm hoping will be better, keep love alive and keep Michaeling, and I'll talk to you soon.